Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode Inside the House Divided. I'm Kevin.
Chris.
Your Boston Sports Talk rivalry on 98.1 WQAQ FM radio. Of course, we currently cannot be in the studio, so this is episode 3 from home live on YouTube. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, like, comment, follow us on the Twitter at the House Divide 1, leave a comment. Follow us, retweet our stuff. We love it when you guys ask questions and retweet our stuff. We're always on there. Our Twitters are also attached, so be sure to follow us on social media. Obviously, a lot's happened in the past week or so that it cannot be ignored. So we couldn't bring only one guest. We couldn't bring the guest back from last week. We had to bring in 2 guests. And Chris was able to get this together. So I'm going to let him take it away and introduce.
Yeah, so today, everyone knows, typical Gabe with the nice headphones. Gabe, Seattle fan, Rutgers guy, wants Rutgers to get a hockey team, thinks that they'd beat Quinnipiac, which I think is a joke.
We could in a few years. In a few years. No, Cory, I'm talking about like an actual Big Ten hockey.
Oh, I know. Good luck with that one. And then, none other than my brother, Cory Cohen.
Bold Nation. Let's do it.
Video himself.
He says Bold Nation, but I'm never going to forget the year that the Browns had no wins.
Yo, chill.
And they beat the Chargers, and you go, yo, I'm done. I'm not a Chargers fan anymore. That's it for me.
Big video, baby.
Sad, that happened to everybody.
I also remember when you came over to watch the divisional game, or the championship game, yikes.
It happens. It's happened to the Chargers. It's going to happen to the Patriots this year.
No, it's not, dude. No, it's not.
Man. Here we go.
Jared Stidham's the future. Or Trevor. Jared or Trevor. Promised land, baby. Super Bowl this year.
We'll see.
Stidham or Trevor, and we saw that because the Patriots did not draft a quarterback this year.
I was very surprised.
After the draft went off 2 weeks ago, the 4 of us actually watched it together right here on Zoom, and quite interesting the first round. Obviously Chris was not happy with certain turn of events,
to say the least.
So,
what
happened, Chris? What happened?
What
happened to your love? Oh, oops, sorry.
I don't really care. End of the day, if it was between, say they didn't pick 2, I'd be pissed. But, I mean, it's whatever. Still got Jared Stidham. He's good. You got Trevor next year. Ain't sweating.
I don't know about that one.
I was gonna say, you think they're gonna have that bad of a season?
No. They'll probably go 8-8, middle of the pack, and then you can trade up to get them.
Really? I see. I looked at their schedule yesterday, and I took 7-9. I actually took
same difference.
But,
I mean, they could go 7-9 and win the damn AFC East. I mean,
not this year.
I mean,
not this year.
7-9. Next year.
Really?
7-9.
Who do you have? Who's in your division again? Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean,
Buffalo.
The Bills.
You're not wrong there.
They're going to be better than.
The only real threat you have in the division is the Bills, and that's. I mean, the Dolphins did add some defensive power, but they're still the Dolphins.
Yeah, they kind of learned some from the Pats.
They've done that for years. Don't really care.
Huge bad.
I don't really care.
Also, they have Tua. You guys are forgetting that.
Yeah, well, if I was going to place money on any AFC East team to win the AFC East, it'd be the Dolphins because they're the biggest wild card. Good coach. Good roster. They got the quarterback now. Worst case, you got Fitz. Do a little Dinkin Duncan. Looked good at the end of last year.
That'll be definitely one of the conferences that's going to be divisions. Excuse me. To see what's going to happen there. Going to come out on top. Who's
I Yes. The NFC East is
Definitely going to be much improved because, I mean, if you look at
not
how
really.
bad, why do you think that the Bills are better? The Dolphins are much better. I don't know about the Jets, but I think that
The Jets are the Jets.
but two of the three teams that everyone thought of as functional in that division are
you're
now decent.
That's true.
So it's going to be more wide open for sure.
Yeah.
The Patriots are done though, so.
I mean, it happens for
You're
everybody.
a clown. You're a whole clown.
They had. I don't think it'll be like. I don't think it'll be one of those things where it's another 10, 15 years before they win another championship. It just every team goes through a rebuilding process. Everybody's got to do it. Sometimes. Way back when the Bears were a powerhouse with everybody they had. Then they lost everybody, and now look where they are. That's not a good example because the Bears have been bad for quite a while. But you know what I mean? It's just it happens to everybody. It's gonna happen. Giants are in it right now.
That shows how some teams are better at rebuilding than others. Like the Bears have been bad for a long time. They suck at rebuilding. The Dolphins haven't been able to get their quarterback. They've been bad at rebuilding. While some other teams have done a better job of staying competitive.
I think the Dolphins have bad luck because they had Tannehill. He was garbage with that team, and I'm not saying he's anything like crazy special now, but look what happens. He goes to Tennessee. It comes in and
takes it to the AFC Championship game.
Exactly. Mariota had
the Patriots and then beating the Ravens, dude.
Yeah, he gets in the season and he does what he has to do. He fits in that system. So maybe it was just because he wasn't in the right system with the Dolphins. I don't know.
I mean, he had Derrick Henry, who was the train of
the no, you're right.
He carried like 400 or 500 yards a game.
You're not wrong.
Throws 2 long bombs, gets them to go. That's 2 touchdowns right there. And then has Derrick Henry throw a pass at the 2-yard line to an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
That's all you need, really.
Yeah.
I think in the game against the Ravens, Tannehill threw for like under 100 yards. It was like 80-something yards. He's kind of a limited quarterback. When you have a running back like Derrick Henry, who literally does everything for you, you don't need to have an elite quarterback.
Yeah.
You just have enough one or 2 good throws.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just don't think the Dolphins utilized him correctly. They took him from Texas A&M as a wide receiver and made him or he was a wide receiver there and then turned into a quarterback. And the Dolphins took a chance on him. Didn't pan out.
Usually the other way around. You take a quarterback and then turn him into a wide receiver.
Yeah,
like
exactly. Whatever works,
No, yeah, whatever works. But definitely rebuilding process for a lot of people. Cory, I want to ask you, because you're obviously a Bolts fan, if you couldn't tell. You got Herbert. Herbert. Do you like it, yes or no?
So, I mean, obviously out of the quarterbacks that were there, I mean, the only other quarterback I would have considered taking, with who was left after the Dolphins obviously took Tua, was Jordan Love. But I didn't. I watch college football, but I'm not as big on college football as I am with the NFL until it gets to the playoff. But so Love was my secondary, but I'm okay with the pick. I think he definitely has to. I was reading something saying that he spoke to he was on some radio show or something, and he said that when he got the starting job at Oregon, he had like some issues with like breaking out of his shell and like being what a quarterback needs to be in like a leader. He didn't want to yell at his guys. He didn't want to, he was very quiet. And he said he had to break out of his shell. So I'm a little concerned with that. As long as he breaks out of that, I think as a player, I think he can grow. But I'm okay with the pick. I think he's going to be the quarterback for the next 10 years? No. I honestly, I think we'll end up either taking somebody off of free agency or end up drafting another quarterback. But I have faith in the kid. You know, I think some good things will come out. And hey, man, I mean, maybe it proves me wrong, but obviously we'll have to wait until the season starts to see that. So we'll see. I'm okay with the pick.
Yeah, I liked it too. I mean, we were all watched you. You seemed a little bit amused. You seemed amused at the pick. But like, you know, Herbert, you know, he played for Oregon, a Pac-12 team. You know, doesn't really scream a lot of competition compared to like the SEC or like a conference like that, or like the Big Ten, like the Big 12, like. But you know, Jordan Love played for Utah State, and it's those kinds of quarterbacks that get a lot of attraction just because of numbers. But obviously, the argument can go on the amount of competition that you have to face to get those numbers.
Yeah.
But you know, it really varies from quarterback to quarterback. Obviously, the Bears, you know, screwed up when they got Mitch Trubisky from North Carolina at the number 2 pick. And look-de-doo, look what he's doing now. But like, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about, you know, Herbert as an NFL quarterback. Obviously, we have to wait and see. He could be like a Pro Bowler in like 3 years, 4 years.
I wouldn't start him. I mean, I don't think they're going to either. I think Tyrod was already named the starter by Lynch, but yeah, I'm okay with the pick. Obviously, it came down to who the Dolphins took, and it was a no-brainer. You know, you take Tua, and I said it on the night of the draft. I'll say it again. The only reason I didn't like Tua was because of all those injuries, and obviously he'll have a little bit more time to recuperate and, you know, and make sure he is 100%. But at the end of the day, you look at the injuries he had, and they weren't minor injuries. You know, they were pretty serious injuries. And I think Alabama, what was the first injury he got? Was that his hip or was that the second one?
He said like 6.
No, I know, but the first, they weren't even playing. I forget who they were playing. They weren't even playing anybody good. He went down, and then like 2 games later, I think the 2 games later was the hip, and again he rushed back, and I think that Alabama. I mean, you know, it's a good thing he didn't get hurt again, but I think Alabama rushed him back, and I think that the way the Dolphins are, I think they're going to run him into the ground. But so at the end of the day, it came down to who the Dolphins took. So obviously, you know, Tua is a better quarterback than Herbert. But if we're talking about longevity, I think that Herbert is a better pick for us because he hasn't I don't even knock on wood. He hasn't had any serious injuries yet. So, you know, I think that's, at the end of the day, it's a good pick for us. I think it'll do for now. Anybody but Rivers. I mean, he was a good leader, but anybody but Rivers. Oh my Lord. He's a cancer, man. I don't know. I saw there was some meme the other day. I saw yesterday about him, all the weapons he has on the offensive side of the ball now, and they said he was still screwed up. And honestly, I agree with that. I don't think it's a whole nother story. We won't get into that. My blood's boiling right now just talking about it.
No, we'll take you out of your misery. I'm sure Herbert was like that new light for you at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that, you know, it was a good pick. It was a pick that, you know, you kind of needed. So, kudos to that. We go to our other guest now, Gabe, Seattle Seahawks guy. Talk to me. You finally you used the first round pick. You didn't trade it for once. How about that?
I don't know what we're doing. For some reason, when we do keep our first round picks, we decide to take Big 12 defensive players, which is not a good idea. The Big 12 is not a conference known for defense, and taking someone in the first round for that conference in general is not a good idea. Also, a lot of GMs and coaches apparently like Jordan Brooks, their first round pick, but I wasn't really a big fan. I thought that we could have gotten some some better value that high in the draft. There were some bigger names, of course, like AJ Epinesa, Gross Matos, maybe Xavier McKinney, who somehow dropped to the second round. I didn't think that was going to happen. I really think we could have gotten one of those players. Xavier McKinney isn't exactly a need for us. We're pretty decent at safety, but I mean, if he's the best player available, then it might be worth taking him, or at least consider taking him. I think we should have focused on pass rush. Jordan Brooks is a linebacker who can pass rush, but I don't think that was the best decision to take him in the first round. I just think we overvalued him. Then again, the Seahawks often are unconventional with their drafting, and they seem to get some good players. So I really think that Pete Carroll will be able to coach up Jordan Brooks, especially since they like that guy enough to take him in the first round. Then in the second round, in the third round, I think our picks were pretty good. Darnell Taylor, the pass rusher from Tennessee. He was really dominant in the SEC, which is obviously the best conference in college football, and he played against top teams week in, week out. And I would say that was a good pick. Then that LSU offensive lineman, trying to remember his name. Damian Lewis. Yeah, so he's a guard. He seems like a good player, but he wasn't as good in pass cover. Was defending. I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
I think he was a good pick. I just don't know if he's going to be able to adequately defend Russell Wilson from the pass rushes that are in our division, because the pass rushes in our division are unbelievable. We needed it to beat up our offensive line, and I don't think we did enough there.
I think the Seahawks did what they did. Every NFL team overdrafts a player. Every NFL team underdrafts a player. So there's no really dodging that. But with a guy like Russ, obviously protection is protection, but he's got quick feet, so I wouldn't really be too worried about pass protection. But obviously you do need it in certain situations. So draft picks don't hurt in that area. Obviously they have to develop, so there is no really telling until you get to the pros. But it looked like the Seahawks did what they could with what they had. They didn't really need any outstanding positions. Like, they obviously didn't need a quarterback. Their running backs are fine. Their wide receivers are pretty decent. Their tight end is, okay, he's young. You got the Griffins on linebacker duty. Your front three is okay. Like, you guys are fine. So you guys did what you could. Kind of like they had like a quiet draft, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I'd say it was a quiet draft. I just think that there were some better players we could have selected, specifically in the first round. In the later rounds, we did okay. We picked up some positions that we might not necessarily need, but will be decent backups and could become starters over time, like Colby Parkinson. He's probably going to be the third or fourth tight end on our team because we're pretty good at tight end. We just picked up Greg Olsen. Will Dissly is back from injury. We have Luke Wilson. I think we're fine there. We didn't need Colby Parkinson, but maybe he could be a good blocking tight end and catch a pass once in a while, and especially since Greg Olsen's quite old, and so is Luke Wilson. I think that he could be a decent player. He won't start right away, and neither will DJ Dallas. But I think that we picked up some decent players that we can, in the future, get to be starters for us. We're going to need to coach them up, though.
No, yeah. Most definitely. Chris looks like he's contemplating something.
What?
Get him out of that state. Talk to me about the Pats, bro. What happened?
What do you mean? What happened?
Kyle Duggar, big Division II safety.
Yeah, very Bill. Very
You
Bill.
obviously the pick.
I like that pick. I saw a couple of things that Bleacher Report put out after. He at his position he dominated the combine. So I think he should. I think Pats fans should actually be happy about that.
Yeah, I am mad. We'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah.
Besides that, I mean, nothing that really jumps off the page.
It did make a lot of trades.
Yeah, which
second and third round.
And
yeah, they got 2 tight ends.
And the first.
And the first, yeah.
Traded the first pick to us. They traded a lot. We still didn't take McKinney, but I'm not even gonna be mad about that. We got DJ. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Chris didn't really need to say enough to just describe the Patriots draft.
It's like Bill Belichick, short and sweet.
I mean, there's really okay. It was just a draft. I mean, you didn't get any stars. You didn't do anything fancy. You did what you had to do. You got the 2 tight ends. You got what you needed to get. End of story. There's nothing.
Die-hard Patriots fan, ladies and gentlemen.
There's nothing super flashy about it.
No, yeah. I mean,
I ain't gonna complain. I don't hate it. It wasn't a draft. I'll remember this draft forever.
I remember when you were pissed off that the Packers went up and got Jordan Love.
No, I actually think that's kind of hilarious because the Packers are just going to self-implode, and it's hilarious.
What do you think about that pick?
I think it's awesome, right? So, but it could also become my worst nightmare. In the sense that if Rogers decides that he no longer wants to be with the Packers, and Jarrett Stidham turns out not to be the future, then I am dealt with the idea that Aaron Rodgers might be my team's future quarterback, in which case I will cry.
Okay, that's not happening. Stop right. That's not happening.
Listen,
I really don't think you'd go to the Pats, if anything.
okay, can you? I'm speaking doomsday, Gabe. This is a doomsday situation.
Why are you that negative?
Because I don't like Aaron Rodgers. He's a stuck-up.
Here we go.
Gabe, you know why? Every sports reporter who has every sports reporter, and by every sports reporter I mainly mean Max Kellerman.
No, any other idiots. There's a bunch of morons out there.
Okay, but I
think, bunch of idiots.
I think we can agree that Max is one of your biggest haters. Is one
of your biggest haters? He doesn't know who Chris is.
I wish he did.
Is one of the guys that Chris hates the most.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they all say that Rodgers is better than Brady, and let's not get into the conversation.
Because there's no conversation to be had.
I mean, I'm right there with you. I take Brady over Rodgers, but at the end of the day, people have their own opinions, But I think
good. Idiots.
Kevin, what about you? What do you think about the Giants?
So obviously the number 4 pick comes around. As predicted, it went Burrow, Chase Young, and then Jeff Okudah. So your 4th rounder, your number 4 pick is there. You have no linebackers other than if you want to call Blake Martinez and Kyler Fackrell starting material. Because they kind of not. If you look at their pass, defense, Blake Martinez is aggressive, but not the pass rusher we need. And as obviously, the one and only Isaiah Simmons can dominate in any area of the football field, and he's known for being aggressive and being dynamic. So I felt like the logical pick was to take a guy with talent that can actually help the team in multiple areas if need be. But no, the team goes for an offensive tackle that they thought was number 1, Andrew Thomas from Georgia. They didn't take Tristan Wirfs. They didn't take Jedrick Wills. They took Andrew Thomas. obviously you saw my reaction to the pick. I was struck by lightning. Like, I didn't even think that was gonna happen. I don't understand it, but I kind of do because I think Dave Gettleman's an idiot, and he will forever be an idiot for wearing a mask indoors.
I did find out
That was the funniest part of the whole draft.
he either had or has some type of cancer, and that's why he was wearing the mask, because like his family was.
I think he had an IT guy in the house, and
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I saw something about that. I think it was taken out of context a little bit, even though it is funny. Within context, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Oh,
Yikes.
definitely. Yeah.
That's
Still an
awkward.
we were roasting them on when we were watching. We were roasting them, and then that came out. Like, oh crap!
We always got canceled.
Now I feel like now I
felt like jerks for laughing. But Kev, which offensive lineman would you have taken if you were the Giants?
Jedrick
you
Wills.
couldn't have Isaiah Wills. Okay.
Jedrick Wills.
Yeah.
Jedrick Wills.
But I understand the pick. I understand the pick. Like, Andrew Thomas isn't a guy, like Eric Flowers. Because way back when we went first round last year, I said this before and I'll say it again. The last time we went first round for an offensive lineman, it was at Eric Flowers, and he just got re-signed by the Dolphins. The Dolphins. He's poo-poo. We all saw that. Couldn't protect Eli for his damn life. Couldn't even get a raise if he wanted to. That's why he didn't and left the team. And that was an absolute utter failure. You could blame the offensive line coaches. You could blame the offensive coordinator if you want to. I'd see that as like a one-man, one-player job. You're not doing as bad as freaking Chad Wheeler. A practice squad player who's doing better than you. But fine. I'll take Andrew Thomas. I looked at his highlight reel. He hasn't allowed a sack in a long time.
Yeah, he's strong.
He's
big. He's SEC. He's big. He's big, meaty, strong base.
Big.
Yeah,
big
picture. We're looking at the big picture here. Yeah, he's pretty solid. I mean, you need pass protection when it comes to Daniel Jones, and Saquon Barkley couldn't do his job last year because he didn't get those holes when he needed to to get those amount of yards that he did his rookie year. So I get the pick. Pass protections first. You gotta protect Daniel Jones so that he could promote himself as a elite NFL quarterback in the next 5 years. So I understand the pick. And then, after looking at it, I got the pick and I was like, you know what, I'll take it if that's what it means. More offensive prowess. It's fine.
I have a question.
What?
Say you guys did take Isaiah Simmons. What would you go? Would you go lineman, your second pick?
Yes, 100%.
Who do you think do you think and there would have been anybody left there that you would have still liked at lineman if you had gone Simmons at number one?
I don't think that's really a question because you go into the second round, 5 or 6 linemen already off the board. So there isn't really looking at a guy that you need per se. That's why I don't think the Giants went offensive lineman second round when I feel like they really needed to. Obviously, you have to steal a guy like Xavier McKinney if you still can, because our secondary is also a big problem. But I bet you if he wasn't on the board, or I don't know if Kyle Duggar was taken off the board too, because obviously he looked really solid. He's still not better than McKinney. Then they would have gone offensive lineman. 2 offensive linemen back to back. An offensive lineman after linebacker. To me that would have been a more realistic scenario, going for lineman after taking a guy like Simmons, because you like Gabe's situation, you don't need a quarterback, you don't need a running back. Your wide receivers are fine. Your tight end is developing. He's a top 10 tight end. Obviously, your line is where you need it. Your front 3 is decent, I guess, subpar. your linebackers, obviously, if you get Isaiah Simmons, then you would think that it's going to get at least somebody somewhat better, and then you're left with your secondary. So those are really your problems. So I would have expected offensive linemen. Then I would have taken Darnay at cornerback like we did in the 4th round. I like that pick a lot, even though he's kind of undersized and, he gets beat sometimes.
I'm like, where did it go? I'm like, what?
I was just stretching, sorry. You keep talking, Cal, my bad.
just stretching to my jersey.
Oh my god. I can't, bro. It's just, but what was I saying? I forgot, dude.
You were talking about your
Darnay. We take a cornerback like we need to. But I don't know. There just wouldn't have been an offensive lineman where I would have been like, oh, we need him. Like, 3rd round, Matt Pert from UConn, looked at him, decent. Day 1 starter, no. Maybe a midseason starter if people start falling apart, yeah. We have to find out. But yeah, there's not really anyone I would see in the 2nd round because, Worf is off the board, Wills is off the board, Thomas is going to be off the board at number 10. Mekhi Becton's off the board. No.
So you're okay. You're okay with how things went.
Oh yeah, I'm okay. Obviously McKinney is McKinney. Played for Alabama. I would say in the game, it's obviously the combine is like the combine. It's a day. It's a couple days. You show off your stuff. Good for you. Proud of you. In game situations, you look at McKinney and the talent he had to play because he played at Alabama.
It was a beast.
He was an absolute destructive beast, and unfortunate that he couldn't, carry that into a playoff spot. But obviously, it's more than just a guy. But like as a safety on that team, he performed out of his mind for an Alabama. So I'm literally glad that we got that pick. Was I surprised that the Giants actually came through and, used their noggin to get a good pick? A little bit, because they're known for messing it up. But no, they did good. They did really good. Then Matt Parrott, then Darnay Holmes. Then, back to offensive linemen. Then you get a couple linebackers. I think the Giants did pretty good. And I looked at a lot of expert opinions, and they really liked it. So like their minimum grade like from any expert was like a B or B plus, just like what they got and like a lot of A's. So I'm really proud of the Giants this year.
Yeah, definitely a big
question.
So
obviously, was there anything that surprised you? Any pick in particular that surprised you? Obviously, I would say the Jordan Love pick surprised me.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts would be another one that I would think.
Ooh,
oh God, that was
pick
crazy.
to the Eagles.
Yeah. Also, I thought the Eagles were gonna trade up to get CeeDee Lamb, and then they saw the Cowboys take him. Like I was looking at Twitter during the draft, and all the Eagles fans were complaining that their GM didn't take CeeDee Lamb. I really think he did.
Howie Roseman. I don't know, dude. That's confusing.
Yeah. I mean,
are they trying to run the option with Jalen Hurts and
like
Wentz? Is that the plan?
What they're doing, I said this to you guys on the night of the draft. At this point in Wentz's career, obviously when he's healthy, he's a good quarterback. But I think with the amount of concussions and just other injuries and stuff, I think he maybe has another 2 years in him before it becomes a matter of the Eagles have to seriously look at him and be like, are we going to keep this guy on our roster and hope he doesn't get hurt again, or are they just going to cut him? And I think they bit the bullet now in Hurts and hope that maybe they do run him they do put him in with the option and stuff, but I think that they put him behind Wentz, get him to know the playbook. If maybe it'll be maybe it'll be a Giants situation where Eli started and then Jones came in. Maybe they start Wentz, and even if he is healthy, if he doesn't have what they're looking for, maybe they switch. Or I think they.
Alex Smith, Pat Mahomes type situation.
Yeah.
We go under him for a year, but Wentz isn't old. Like Wentz.
No, I know.
Ready to go unless the Eagles want to trade him.
No, I know. But he didn't look too special this year. This past year when he was healthy, he didn't do anything crazy.
Who the hell's he throwing it to? A quarterback?
Alshon Jeffrey was hurt most of the year. Nelson Aguilar wasn't doing what he usually does in the slot.
Yeah.
He was throwing
a
it.
lot of people are saying is
Zach
that
Ertz. Like,
who cares? He gets hurt.
Rieger is apparently somewhat like Aguilar
Aggie, who this drops.
in the sense that he's known for drops. That's one of Rieger's weaknesses. So they just drafted another Nelson Aguilar.
I'm sure that's what all Eagles
they
fans
took
wanted.
Jalen Reagor instead of Justin Jefferson because he was still.
Yeah, I would have. Oh, no question. You take Jefferson.
That's a blasphemy.
Which is hilarious.
You never know, man. You can't. Just gotta wait to see how it plays out. 5 years from now, you'll know how everyone did, and maybe Jalen Reagor is gonna be the best wide receiver in the league. Who the hell knows?
Okay, that's not happening.
Yeah.